Okay, today we're looking at section 6.8, the basics of loans. If you want a new car because you need one, or you need a new computer since your current one no longer runs as fast or smoothly as you like, or you need a new chimney because the one in your house is crumbling, it's likely you do not have that cost in cash. These are very large purchases. So how do you pay for it? Well, of course, you borrow the money. And for helping you with your purchase, the company or bank charges you interest. Loans are taken out to pay for goods or services when a person does not have the cash to pay for the goods or services. We are most familiar with loans for big purchases in our lives, such as cars, homes, and college education. Loans are also taken out to pay for repairs, smaller purchases, and home goods like furniture and computers. Loans come from a bank or from the company selling the goods or providing the service. Borrower agrees to pay back more than the amount borrowed, so there is a cost to borrowing that should be considered when deciding on a purchase bought with credit or borrowed money. Even using a credit card is a form of loan. Essentially, a loan can be obtained for just about any purchase, large or small, that has a cost beyond a person's cash on hand. So let's look at some of the terminologies here. So first we start with APR is the annual percentage rate. It is the annual interest rate paid on the money that was borrowed. The principal is the total amount of the loan or that has been financed. A fixed interest rate loan has an interest rate that does not change during the life of the loan. A variable rate interest rate loan has an interest rate that may change during the life of the loan. The term of the loan is how long the borrower has to pay the loan back. An installment loan is a loan with a fixed period, and the borrower pays a fixed amount per period until the loan is paid off. Periods are almost uniformly monthly. Loan amortization is the process used to calculate how much of each payment will be applied to principal and how much is applied to interest. Revolving credit, also known as open-end credit, is how most credit cards work, is also a kind of loan account. We'll learn about credit cards later. You can use up to some specified value called the limit any way you want. And as long as you pay the issuer of the credit according to their terms, you can keep borrowing from this account. So calculating loan payment. Loan payments are made up of two components. One component is the interest that occurred during the payment period. The other component is part of the principal. This should remind you of partial payments from the simple interest section. Over the course of a loan, the amount of principal remaining to be paid decreases. The interest you pay in a month is based on the remaining principal, just as in the partial payments and simple interest. So we have a formula. The amount of interest I to be paid for one period of a loan with remaining principal P is I equals P times R over N, where R is the interest rate in decimal form, and N is the number of payments in a year. Most often, N equals 12. Since the interest is for one period, the time is 1 and does not impact the calculation. Note, interest paid to lenders is always rounded up to the next penny. Find the interest to be paid for the period on loans with the following remaining principal and given annual interest rate. So we have a remaining principal of $56,945 with an interest rate of 7.5%. So looking at our formula here, we have I equals P times R over N. So we have P, which is 56,945 times our interest rate, which is 0.075 in decimal form, over 12. After doing the calculation, we find our interest is $355.91. 56,945 times 0.075 divided by 12. Okay, our second problem here. Again, interest equals the principal, 25,850 times the interest rate in decimal form, 0.029 divided by 12. And again, 25,850 times 0.029 divided by 12 gives us an interest of $62.48. The payment of the loan has to be such that the principal of the loan is paid off with the last payment in any period. In any period, the amount of interest is defined by the formula above, but changes from period to period. And since the principal is decreasing with each payment, the trick is knowing how much principal should be paid each payment so that the loan is paid off at the stated time. Fortunately, that is found using the following formula. And this one is pretty tricky. The payment equals P times R over N times 1 plus R over N to the NT power all over 1 plus R over N to the NT power minus 1, where R is again the annual interest rate in decimal form, T is the number of years of the loan, and N is the number of payments per year. Typically, loans are paid monthly, making N equal to 12. And again, payment to lenders is always rounded up. Also, the formula takes the form of payment equals P times R times 1 plus R to the N over 1 plus R to the N minus 1, where R is the interest rate per period. Annual rate divided by the number of periods per year, and N is the total number of payments to be made. So in the following, calculate the payment necessary to pay off the loan with the given details. The payments are monthly. So we're looking at that same formula. Payment equals P times R over N times 1 plus R over N to the NT divided by 1 plus R over N to the NT minus 1. So let's write this out. Let's see what we have going on here. So a home improvement loan is taking out for $17,950. An annual interest rate of 7.5% for 10 years. So here we just plug in our values. Payment equals 17,950 times 0.075 over 12 times 1 plus 0.075 over 12 to the N, which is 12, times T, which is 10, all over 1 plus 0.075 over 12 to the 12 times 10 minus 1. So doing the math on our numerator here, I get equals 17,950. This here is 0.00625, which makes this 1.00625 to the 120th power over 1.00625 to the 120th power minus 1. Multiplying across the top, we get 236.9473 over 1.1121, which comes to $213.07. During calculations, I would try to keep at least 4 decimal places. Okay, so looking at number 2 here, a solar panel installation loan taken out for $33,760 and an annual interest rate of 4.3% for 20 years. So again, my payment is equal to the principal, $33,760 times the interest rate in decimal form, 0.043 over 12 times 1 plus the interest rate in decimal form over 12 to the n, which is 12 monthly, times 10, or times 20, sorry, 20 years. All over 1 plus 0.042 divided by 12 to the 12 times 20th power minus 1. So going across the top here, I have 33,760 times 0.00358 times 1.00358 to the 240th power over 1.00358 to the 240th power minus 1. In case you forget, 1.00358 caret 240. And that leaves us with, across the top, we have 284.9476 and 1.3577, which leaves us at $209.88. So the next thing we look at is the amortization table or schedule. The table that provides the details of the principal payments for a loan where the payments are applied to both the principal and the interest. Principal of the loan is paid down over the life of the loan. Typically, the payments for each period are equal. Importantly, one of the columns will show how much of each payment is used for interest. Another column shows how much is applied to the outstanding principal, and another column shows the remaining principal or balance. So let's take a look at this table and see what we can see. Well, we see the initial loan amount, we see the interest rate, we see the term in years, we see the monthly payment. So let's see what questions we have here. What is the loan amount? Principal, interest rate, and the term of the loan. So going back, the loan amount, the interest rate, and term. So I have 34,700, 3.79%, and the term is 6 years. How much is the monthly payment? Well, it's right here, $539.57. How much remaining balance is there after the payment in month 20? So here's our months down here. We'll look for month 20 here. And what was it wanted again? Remaining balance. So working our way across here. Last line is the remaining balance, so 25,837.42. 25,000 837.42. How much was the interest in payment 5? Payment 5 here, interest here. $104.14. What is the total of the interest paid after payment 24? So here's payment 24. Total interest is this line here. So working our way across, $2,246 or 62 cents. $2,246.62. What happens to the amount paid to the principal each month? So let's look. Here's the amounts paid to the principal. Payment 1 is $429.98. Payment 2 is $431.34. So what's happening? The amount of principal is increasing. So it increases. Okay. Then we have cost of finance. There are often costs associated with a loan beyond the interest being paid. The cost of finance of a loan is the sum of all costs, fees, interest, and other charges paid over the life of the loan. So Samantha takes out a $28,000 loan for 6 years at 5.5% interest. When she took out the loan, she paid $4,937.18 of interest, an origination fee of $1,400, an application fee of $100. So what was the cost of finance for the loan? Well, we just simply add all this up and we get $6,437.18. And that completes this section.